Our sponsor for today's video, Amber, offers a modern extended warranty for your Tesla's battery and more without the burden of long-term contracts or upfront payments. Check out the link in the description below to browse their plan options and get started with a free over-the-air diagnostic check of your electric car. And this video is also brought to you by StarCharge, the largest EV charging manufacturer in the world. They are also a provider of residential and commercial battery storage with microgrid solutions. Hello and welcome to another Out of Spec Reviews video, and welcome to Denver, Colorado. This is actually the Rivian R1T that ran up Pikes Peak here in 2024. We've covered all of the other electric vehicles that went up Pikes Peak this year. The Ford Super Truck, which was just insane. We had full access to their engineering team at Stard with Romain Dumas driving that vehicle. An incredible performance from them, by the way, given the fact that they stopped for, I think, over 20 seconds due to a technical malfunction right at the start and still came in at the overall win. That Ford really went full send and built an insane electric truck to climb Pikes Peak. We then covered the Hyundai Ioniq 5N cars, both the TA spec with the full aero and the one right off the dealership lot representing a production spec Ioniq 5N. That was really cool. I love the idea of showing a car that you can buy at the dealer and then seeing its capabilities going up one of the toughest motorsports events in the world, and it happens to be in our backyard here in Colorado. And that approach is the same approach Rivian took by taking literally an off-the-shelf pre-series production in this particular case, but very representative of a series production quad motor Rivian R1T. Now this is the generation 2 Rivian R1T that has a new electrical architecture, new oil-cooled electric motors, and I think a lot of these things helped bring this in for a over 30-second reduction in time from the previous R1T hill climb generation, and massive improvement. So I'm here with the truck. My friend Gardner, who drove it up the hill, is with us as well. And my friend Drew should be coming so we can talk all race truck stuff. So we'll get into everything. Quad motor, R1T, Pikes Peak race truck. Should be pretty epic. Let's do it. So I've got Walter with me. He's going to help explore the Rivian. Oh, we got to go this way, dude. So a couple things to note. I've already done a full in-depth deep dive tour of the Generation 2 R1s. Actually, Alyssa, if you look behind you, there's this R1S in the new slate, storm blue color, I believe. Storm with the new interior. Let's show everyone. What do you think about this? This is the new colorscape for the top spec tri and quad motors on the inside. Looks really good, I think. Yeah, pretty amazing. And the fact that you can get over 1,000 horsepower now in Rivians is just freaking awesome. Now, I own a quad motor R1T with the Generation 1 motors, the Bosch motors. Walter, come on, dude. We got to go this way. Thanks. Sorry, I know it's confusing. You're not used to doing YouTube videos. The Generation 1 Bosch motors are crazy fast. They're 835 horsepower in that particular truck. It's pretty awesome. Alyssa's going to take Walter. Thanks. And they're fine, except when you start driving hard for a long time. And that's something we noticed, especially watching Gardner's playback footage from last year, that the motors just overheat. They're water jacket cooled, and that's a real problem. So now they have the updated Ascent drive units in this particular one, a larger one in the rear with a shorter gear ratio, something to get you off the line, big punch. And then of course the sort of smaller dual motor up front for a little bit more efficiency. Oil cooled right to the windings, really impressive. Watching back the footage of this particular truck, the motors never got hot. The battery was the limitation. Now in the stock category, you're allowed to run basically a stock truck. So this has the max battery pack, the Gen 2, it's just over 141 kilowatt hour gross, 142 kilowatt hour gross. And then again, 1,025 horsepower, which is awesome. The big thing here is just managing thermals. So you can do basically a couple things as part of the class that within the regulations. You can pre-chill ahead of the race. We'll talk to Gardner about that. You can do some brake cooling things because again, this is a truck that weighed in at just over 6,500 pounds. Yeah, there was some weight reduction on the inside. I'll show you inside as well. And then everything else other than brakes and some software tweaks in order to basically cool down ahead of the run It's a factory stock truck running stock brake hardware as well, just with an upgraded pad and fluid and actually some cooling ducts, which we'll show everyone. But other than that, this is essentially an off-the-shelf R1T quad motor that will be on sale sometime probably early next year, early to mid next year, representative of a series production build. Let's get Gardner on the channel, walk us through the truck, walk us through the run, and of course I'll leave a link in the description so you can watch the playback of his entire ascend up Pikes Peak. Pretty impressive run, I have to say. Again, shaving over 30 seconds off the previous year. It's pretty awesome. Guys, you join me with Gardner. Gardner, you have now run Pikes Peak for the second year in a Rivian.
Yep, the second year in a Rivian. I've been really lucky with 2 really good weather days as well, because that's not always the case on the mountain. So as they say, the mountain decides, but she's been very nice to me so far.
Yeah, dude, you had a monster run this year with the new truck. And, you know, I think it's cool. A lot of people may not know your first run was like, that was your personal truck.
It was. Yeah, that truck had 20,000 miles on it when it took the green flag. It was my wife and I's daily driver. So yeah, last year was an amazing like privateer effort, really special. And this year I'm so happy to be able to have Rivian on board and showcase the performance of the new quad motor R1T.
Yeah, dude, not only is like Rivian on board and like it's a full automaker race team, you got a freaking van over here, you've got a tow rig, RJ came out to support you. Like, that's awesome that, you know, Rivian is so behind this performance effort, which is kind of different than the typical off-road adventure stories we hear about, but I'm so here for it.
Yeah, well, thank you. Yeah, it's been really, I'm really glad that like RJ and the team and Rivian got to see that event, because Pikes Peak itself is so special. It's really near and dear to my heart. So yeah, I'm just really glad to like showcase the performance of this truck, because of any event, it's like a perfect proving grounds to show, you know, how fast a 7,000-pound pickup truck can be.
Dude, it's crazy. I mean, even the Gen 1s were pretty crazy. The main problem with those, and I've spoken to Mason and Powertrain and everything, you just didn't have the thermal longevity of those motors.
Yeah.
And so now, I guess that's the big question, is like, what were the differences between Gen 1 and Gen 2 from your perspective?
Yeah, obviously, you know, the whole new network architecture, from my perspective, it shaves a little bit of weight and wiring, simplifies things a little bit. But the biggest performance difference that we saw was in the drive units, the Rivian in-house designed drive units, which of course have oil-cooled stators.
Yep.
And I mean, whereas last year we were reaching our thermal limit pretty quick. I had like no issues on the race run, you know, top to bottom, or bottom to top, you know, which is huge, because at Pikes Peak it's difficult to judge that, because on your test days you're only running a third of the course at a time, so you don't really know until you string it all together during your race run how the thermals are going to perform, how you're going to perform, how the tires and brakes are going to hold up. So you're constantly driving to the changing conditions of the course and the car, and thermally, like, this car was amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I saw the battery go red towards Devils, but you had it pre-chilled. So what did you start with temperature wise? Was it around 72F, somewhere in the middle, or did you go like as cold as you possibly could?
Not quite as cold as we possibly could. I think we got it close to 50F.
Oh wow, okay, so it's pretty chilly.
Yeah, pretty chilly.
Yeah.
I think we could have kept going, but at that point I think the reason was like your gradient was just going to get worse, you know, as it heats up.
Yeah, of course, that's split between min and max temp, and also you can't output as much energy when it's cold.
Yeah.
So there is that balance. We talked to the Hyundai guys a lot about that. It was really cool to see what they were doing.
Is so important because it's really fast, flowy. You have to keep up your momentum. So,
but still a huge improvement. And I think, you know, Pikes Peak is something that's more aggressive than any owner will ever do with their truck, driving it like that.
Which is why it's such a unique proving ground, because
yeah, rain.
Should I go turn it off?
What? The audio? No, it's good. They won't hear it. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, this is like a perfect area to showcase a new car, because Pikes Peak is such a difficult like proving grounds, because you have the number of turns, you have the altitude. So at the high altitude you don't have that much oxygen to actually cool the motors, the battery, the brakes, everything.
Yeah.
It affects electric cars, gas vehicles, everything. So it's a really big test of like how a car handles to thermal management, or like thermal abuse, really.
Show us on the inside of this thing. Let's take a look. So you have basically, you took a stock pre-series quad motor truck, very series representative of what will be sold, just like this vehicle here.
Yeah, exactly.
And what'd you do to it?
Yeah, so we're running fully production tires. I mean, these are the race day tire. We actually didn't change these out at all, so
nice.
You can actually start wear patterns a little bit. Just touch the Michelin letters.
Hell yeah. Well, if you can read Michelin, you're not driving fast enough.
Yeah.
So you got to scrub all that down.
You want just his fingers. So.
Yeah. nice.
These are still like a 300 tread wear. It's a great, awesome, high performance tire, and it's pretty special to just go Pikes Peak with a street tire instead of some semi-slick, our compound setup. As you can see, the pad deposit, these are the stock brakes, the stock hardware that we really tried to maximize.
Yeah.
Because that was the point is just showing what a stock truck could do.
So pads and fluid, and then we saw some ducting for the cooling.
Yep. For the rules, we removed the interior, we removed the carpet, and then install this awesome, beautiful roll cage.
Yeah, dude, this thing is really nice. Look at the freaking meat on this roll cage.
I know, the welds are just, the guy's an artist. Preston, big shout out to you.
Shout out to Preston, hell yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, awesome cage, obviously safety like FIA seat.
Yep.
But we kept the dashboard intact, all the screens still function, like the center screen, so you can still select your drive modes and change your ride height. And we kept as much of like the door cards as we could. So just to try to, keep as much of that production vehicle as we could.
Tell us about the setup. Obviously, you did a little bit of software just by pre-chilling the battery, but other than that, sport mode, traction control off, lowest suspension.
Yeah.
That was a surprise.
So last year I ran in low.
Yeah.
Which I think I mentioned to you guys last year.
Yeah, well, it's bumpy up top, dude. And I was watching this thing in the rear, like it gets so stiff. It was coming off the ground.
Yeah. So, this year I decided to run in lowest instead of low. We did a few tests and we just saw the advantages in handling with the lower center of gravity, and it just gave me a little bit more confidence to push a bit harder, even on the bumpy top section where the car is sort of moving around a bit because of those bumps, but the performance advantage and the confidence for myself was well worth it.
Nice.
But yeah, so we have sport, lowest, stability control off.
That's about it. Regen
was in our lowest possible setting.
Yeah, because that's you just want to take, again, the thermals out of the battery and transfer them to friction brakes is the idea.
Yeah, because the batteries are going to, we don't want to put more thermal energy into the battery.
Sure.
We don't have to, so we're just relying totally on our friction brakes for that.
Yeah.
Which obviously got very hot.
Yeah, it got real hot, and this is a heavy truck and you're just standing on that pedal.
Yeah.
But you had upgraded fluid, but it still gets hot.
It still gets really hot. We had probably the best fluid you could buy.
Yeah.
The pads held up excellently, but at some point, especially higher altitude, really heavy truck.
Yeah. There's limits.
You're getting to a 10-minute run with just constant brake inputs. So yeah, the brakes, it's an abuse test. So
tell me about the motor. So one thing I noticed, I own a Gen 1 quad motor as an example, a Bosch system, and every time I come out of a corner, especially on real grip surface, I'm spinning up inside tires and I just can't get enough juice to the outside.
Yeah.
What do you think about these motors? Is that just like all solved and you have all the torque in the world?
Yeah, no, these are still so punchy out of all the turns. And because these are still just street tires and we're pushing everything to the limit, a mentor of mine, David Donahue, sort of was joking with me saying that I'm leaving witness marks throughout the whole course. So actually driving down the mountain, you can almost see my exact racing line.
Wow.
Because you see the 5 rib tire
Yep.
marks. Leaving every turn, like you can see right where I apex, like you can see through the braking zone where I apex and where I go on the throttle.
Heavy truck stuff, dude.
Heavy truck stuff. So yeah, we're putting down.
Okay, yeah, there's a nice. Okay, VW investment fan here. Hell yeah. What'd you have it charged to when you started? I saw 92%, something like that.
Yeah, so that probably dropped a little bit because we did use onboard like preconditioning, the same sort of control you'd use if you select like a fast charger on the map and it routes you to that. It says preparing batteries for fast charging.
Yep.
Similar control theories to that.
Yeah.
We did that before the run to hit our target starting temperature and Yeah, I mean, I ended the run, I think, at like 59 or 60%.
You got a lot of capacity in this truck.
Yeah, it's a big battery. We were talking with the Ford guys.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we did all the super truck stuff. Yeah.
Our battery in this is about 3 times as big.
Yeah, they had only 50 kilowatt hours, so they must have been single digits up there.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that was the goal. I mean, they put that much weight in there. How cool would it be, like, to do? Yeah, I think Rivian should always run like a series production model. Like when R2 comes, and R3X on Pikes is going to be crazy. But I'd love to see, like, go crazy.
Yeah, I would love to see similar to what Hyundai did with like a time attack version. With this truck, just to show that like this was a truck, and like maybe we leave the bed fully functional, so it like still is a truck. But it'd be cool to show.
Yeah, gotta have Cybertruck. I almost brought mine down here.
Nice. So no, it'd be cool to like, there's some lightweight body panels and just show the extreme of like what can this hardware, what can mechanics do.
What was the reason to run an R1T instead of an S? Because so the S actually weighs a bit more, and maybe that was the main reason. But also comparison to last year, what factors went into that?
Pretty much just to show apples to apples the performance difference of Gen 2. If you ran an S, there might be some differences there, whatever, in weight, wheelbase, stability, all that stuff. So it's just the easiest apples to apples comparison, and the reason we ran a truck last year is because I owned a truck.
Right, exactly. That was your car, but having the long wheelbase and the bumpy section, I imagine that's just so nice to have.
Nice. I mean, this is a very long truck, so it's pretty stable, which gives me the confidence to really push and play around with the car up there. Friday of race week, our test session up there was rainy. Road, and we only got
optional test session.
Was it
right?
Optional? Yeah. So
okay.
We're still gonna go for it.
Yeah, hell yeah. So you're ripping around up there that day?
We only got one run.
Okay.
So I ripped around for a few minutes. And a lot of waiting around for the fog to clear, but I decided to spend that one run really just. I'm not going to go for a lap time up there, so it's mostly just to gain visual markers and really just play around with the car up there in those conditions, because it could have been rainy on race day. You never know.
Yeah.
And just get comfortable, and this car is very comfortable just sliding around, and even with stability control off, these tires have such a wide envelope of max capability. It grants you some leniency.
Okay, so they have a nice trail off when they lose traction.
Yeah,
it's not.
Okay. It's very confidence inspiring. It's helpful up there.
I've never driven on this tire. I've never driven on a PSS 5, let alone an OE version for the truck.
Yeah.
So can't wait.
Brand new thing.
Yeah.
So I was in the same boat until our first test session.
Yeah, amazing. Well, we have to say a huge congratulations to you, for starting the Rivian Adventure Department. Well, I know it's not like you, but like you sparked up the enthusiasm in the company and the fan base to get into racing and Pikes Peak, I would say. I hope Rivian goes full send into it. I'm a fan of racing. I'm a fan of proving products that you can buy at the showroom here on Monday and take it to the track on Saturday.
So that's a huge thing, because people will look at motorsports and say like, it's like a marketing event. We use this to help launch the Gen 2 quad motor. So it does have value there. I think we got Rivian name, sort of Gen 2 story out there a bit more. I think it's great, but from an engineering perspective, this has been huge for this car. There's so many learnings that we otherwise might not have found, which can directly help the customer experience via over-the-air updates, which is such a cool, unique thing with Rivian. So we have that ability to constantly make our cars better with software. So the prospect of doing that with motorsports it's my passion, so I couldn't be happier.
Yeah, and from my side, that's like music to my ears. It's like, go beat the shit out of your cars and see how they do, and then make them better for the customer. It's awesome. Well, a huge congratulations to you, and I have to say congratulations to Rivian as well for supporting you in this, because that is, again, you don't look at a pickup truck and think racing, but I'm so glad that you guys did. I'm glad the powertrain team went full send. 1,000 horsepower in a truck is crazy. More than that even. And I mean, this is great. So I hope this isn't the end. I hope we get to see more of you ripping Rivians around.
Me too.
And dude, thanks so much. We're going to enjoy a night with some Rivian enthusiasts here in Denver, and we'll see you all in another Out of Spec Reviews video soon. See you later. Bye-bye.